Hi, I'm Shana Rumsa, and this is Maddie Zimmerman, and we were 2019-2020 choir co-chairs. We had so much fun being co-chairs this year.
We'd like to start tonight by thanking the Choir Council who helped us put together a lot of great activities like Christmas caroling, ice skating, and the talent show.
We also had the privilege of awarding Mr. Richard Yancey the Star Staff Award.
We are so excited you guys decided to join us tonight for our virtual choir awards, so we'll keep this short.
And I hope you enjoyed the program.
Hello everybody, I'm Denise Perry and I'm the head choir director at Brookings High School. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for our virtual choir awards and pops concert. I'm coming to you from my house, from my living room, and I have no idea how many hours I have spent in this very spot for the last 2 months listening to student recordings and reading student responses on Google Classroom and correcting countless assignments. It is not choir as usual. It is not even probably choir as we like it. But I just need to say how proud I am of our students for persevering and getting through to the end of this crazy year. And even though so many things are different right now, I want to make sure that we take some time at the end of this school year and recognize and acknowledge some of the outstanding things that happened in Bobcat choirs this year. And I want to begin by thanking and acknowledging Maddie and Shauna. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Shauna, for serving as co-chairs this year. I appreciate your leadership and your willingness to serve, and you guys have just done a fantastic job. So thank you very much. In addition to Shauna and Maddie as our co-chairs, I want to recognize the rest of the 2019-2020 Choir Council. At the beginning of the year, each choir votes on students who will serve to represent their choir on the Choir Council. And in addition to that, they also serve other purposes, like we have secretaries, we have spirit coordinators, and we have robe coordinators. And so these students help with things like attendance and student of the week and taking care of robes after concerts. And then in addition, they meet once a month to talk about ways to build community within and between the choirs. And so they do things like the Christmas caroling and the talent show, ice skating, those types of things. And so our choir council this year was fantastic, and I want to make sure just to get their names up there to recognize them for all their work. And the next thing I get to do is exciting, and it is to announce who our choir council co-chairs are for the 2020-2021 school year. I'm super excited to say that Lydia Engebretson and Mackenzie Weber are going to serve as our co-chairs next year. I know that they're going to do a fantastic job, and I really look forward to a chance to work with them next year. Thanks, guys. The next thing that we're going to celebrate is the 2019 All-State Chorus. So South Dakota All-State Chorus is pretty special in that each school gets to select representatives to sing in this mass choir. So even the smallest school gets to send one quartet of one soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. And the largest schools get to send five quartets. And this year we were fortunate enough that we just happened to be able to bump up to that next category and take 5 quartets. And the reason that is so fantastic is that we never have enough spots to take everybody who auditions and does a really, really great job in the beginning of the year. So this year we were able to take 5 of every voice part, and then we also always have an alternate quartet just in case something happens and somebody isn't able to go. And so we're always thankful for our alternates because they commit to all the practices and memorize all the music, and we just appreciate all that they do. So here you can see our list of Brookings High School representatives. Each one of the students who attended All-State Chorus will receive a special pin for their participation this year. You can see also at the bottom there that we have Thomas Ropp listed as orchestra, and he did audition and he was selected as one of the Brookings High School basses for All-State Chorus, but no surprise to us, he also auditioned and was selected for All-State Orchestra on French horn. In fact, he was a 4-year winner, and so I just wanted to acknowledge that Thomas did make All-State Orchestra, but he ended up participating, or All-State Chorus, but he did end up participating in All-State Orchestra. So that is our list of Brookings High School All-State Chorus representatives, and as usual, they did a phenomenal job, and I want to thank them for their commitment and just for representing Brookings High School so well. The next students that we are going to recognize tonight are the students who participated in solo and ensemble contest. If you take a look at that date, Tuesday, March 10th, this was the last week that we had face-to-face school, and I'm just so thankful that these students who began working before Christmas did get the opportunity to actually go to contest at Augustana and perform for the judges and get feedback and scores. You can see this list of students from our high school who invested the time in preparing solos for contest. The process begins at the end of October, early November, and that's when Mrs. Christensen, Mrs. C as we call her, starts coming in and meeting with students one-on-one to help them pick solos. That process takes a long time. And then her goal is to meet with them 3 times before contest. And she gives them the tools to learn their songs, so they get their music and rehearsal tracks, and they have to put the time in on their own to learn their solos. And I think that is where the value lies with solo and ensemble contest, because this is one thing that students can do on their own to improve as singers. And I think that the fact that so many of our kids do this and so many of them commit and succeed, that this is one of the reasons why our choir has experienced as much growth and success as it has. So if you take a look at this list, these students all learned solos, some of them in English, some of them in foreign languages, but I just want to leave this screen up for you so you can see there were over 80 students, freshmen through seniors. Some of them were singing the first solo they'd ever sung in their life, and some of them were singing their fourth solo for high school. So I'm just incredibly proud of this group of students. If you take a look at this screen, you can see that that actual day we had 83 students who performed solos, and 62 of them received a superior rating. 19 received an excellent rating. So our kids just absolutely hit it out of the ballpark that day, and I could not have been more proud. In addition to soloists, we have some ensembles that perform. Our jazz choirs perform, and we had 3 ensembles out of concert choir perform. And all 6 of them received superior ratings, and 4 of them even got perfect scores. So it was just a great, great day for Bobcat choirs. I want to make sure to list these students here on this screen. They are students who participated in ensembles but didn't do solos. And so most of the people in our ensembles also did solos, but thankfully we had this group of people who wanted to take that opportunity to participate in contests, but just didn't choose to do a solo this year. So this is our list. This is a final outcome for solo and ensemble contest, and it was really a great day for Bobcat choirs.
Hi, I'm Becky Vandekop, and I'm the incoming president of the Choir Boosters Executive Board. I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to the outgoing members of the board who've been a group of very dedicated and hardworking parents who've been very committed to the choir program for many years. They've been on the executive board for many years, and some of them through several students, and we just really appreciate everything they've done for the program. So because they have graduating seniors, we have the following parents leaving us. Melanie Timmerman has been our president. Julie Abraham has been our secretary. Chris Larson has been the charms coordinator, and Julie Verhoek has been in charge of the Optimist and Swiftel fundraising. And so again, we thank you so much for all of your hard work, wish you well in the future, and wish your graduating seniors well also. Thank you so much.
Good evening, I'm Melanie Timmerman, BHS Choir Booster President. It's an honor to present the Choir Booster Music Scholarship tonight. The Choir Boosters Music Scholarship was started several years ago to recognize choral students who have been active in choral and other music activities throughout their years at BHS, and to show the intention to continue their musical activities beyond high school. We've seen the previous recipients of this scholarship to go on to major in music, contribute their musical skills to their colleges, churches, and communities, and find creative ways to promote music in the pursuit of a joyful life. Each of this year's recipients have been active in all aspects of the performing arts at BHS from the beginning of their high school careers. They have demonstrated musical excellence, commitment, and leadership, and plan to continue their participation in and study of music beyond high school. It is my pleasure to announce this year's recipients of the Brookings High School Choir Booster Music Scholarship: Thomas Ropp, Julia Schubert, Xander Larson, and Courtney Verhoek. Congratulations and best wishes to all of you.
Good afternoon. My name is Amy Lees, and I am the Assistant Choir Director at BHS. I have the pleasure of co-teaching with Mrs. Perry, and she and I co-teach the men's and the women's ensembles, which is the first year choir ensembles. One of the many things I enjoy so much about teaching these groups is that we get to see how much they grow from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. One of the things I love is watching them take educational risks, starting and taking chances on themselves and finding out that they can do it. I'm sure many of the first year students are missing Mrs. Lee's motivational moments, but I really miss talking to you about seeing yourself every day and making yourself better every day. And I hope that you're continuing to do that. And I know you are, because as we have been in remote learning, what has been absolutely phenomenal is watching your perseverance, your persistence, your resiliency, and your creativity. I have absolutely enjoyed watching and seeing the what you're producing and what you're showing up and how you're showing up. So I just want to say congratulations. Thank you for doing that, and thank you for believing in yourself. Mrs. Perry and I truly believe that you are capable of doing anything that you set your mind to. And we believe you can, and you need to believe that you can. The last thing that I want to say is that if you are continuing with us at BHS, I am looking forward to seeing you next year. I look forward to continuing to serve you as the BHS Assistant Choir Director. And if you are not continuing with us, I wish you the best in whatever endeavors you are continuing to pursue. If you see me in the hallway, feel free to stop and say hi, have a conversation, and I'm wishing you the best as you finish out 2019, 2020, and as you move ahead.
When we come back to school in January after the winter break, the first thing that we do is start voting on songs for the Pops concert. I present a theme to the students, and then each class starts voting on which songs they think will work best for them. This year, our theme was Gimme Some Lovin', and that was the song we were going to sing for our closer. And each choir was voting on their songs and had their songs for Pops picked by the end of January. So we got that music ordered and turned our attention to the spring concert. When remote learning hit, we were just a week and a half away from our spring concert, which means we hadn't even started our Pops concert music. As I was trying to decide what to do for remote learning, I found out that my son Micah Perry was creating a virtual choir for the South Dakota State University Concert Choir. And that opened up an opportunity for our students that we would not have otherwise had. And so students could choose if they wanted to be part of the virtual choir, and if they did, that meant that their assignments were to learn their voice part from a rehearsal track. It's not the easiest thing to do, and it's not the most fun way to learn music, but my goal was that the outcome would end up being worth it. And so each choir, the students in each choir that chose to do the virtual choirs worked on the music for about 2.5 weeks, and then they uploaded their recording for Micah to put together. And so the next part of our virtual awards night is going to be recognizing award winners in each choir and watching each class present their virtual choir. So we hope you enjoy our virtual Pops concert. One of the things that we do each year at Choir Awards is what we call the Student Choice Awards. And this is where the singers within a choir get to recognize people that they sing with that show great leadership. And so the first week of remote learning, I sent a Google form out for students to be able to vote and nominate people in their choir, and so that we get a chance to recognize them. And we're going to start with the women's choir tonight. And we'll just start from the highest voice part to the lowest. And the people who sing in the soprano 1 section nominated lots of people, but the one that got the most nominations this year is Olivia Mulhare. Then within the soprano 2 section, the singer that received the most nominations is Lauren Hyde. And within the alto section, the singer that received the most nominations this year is Landry Wilson. The next thing that students get to do is nominate somebody within their choir for the Spirit Award. And the Spirit Award just stands for somebody that they see as being a positive influence within their choir, encouraging people to do their very best. And I love seeing all of the names on that list when it's all said and done. But this year, the student that received the most nominations in women's choir is Mary Rudd. So thank you, ladies, for your outstanding leadership in your choir this year. The next thing that I do is I provide a list of all the songs that we've performed in the fall concert, holiday concert, and spring concert. And students get to pick what their favorites are. And when it came time to see which song won in the women's choir, it was no surprise. The song that was the favorite of this choir is Stars I Shall Find. It was a great year, ladies, even though it was short. Now we're going to move on to our first virtual choir. So I explained the process a little bit earlier. So not everybody in women's choir chose to sing in the virtual choir. But the ones that did had to start from scratch. They had to learn their songs from the very beginning and teach themselves their own voice part. And so I'm really, really proud of how these girls did, especially because I found out later that the comments that I was giving them back on their Flipgrids, they weren't actually getting. So all things considered, they did a great job learning this song, and Micah put it together, and we hope you enjoy the women's choir virtual song, Stuck Like Glue.
Absolutely no one knows me better. No one that can make me feel so good. How did we stay so long together when everybody said we never would? And just when I start to think they're right, love has died. There you go, making my heart beat again, heart beat again, heart beat again. There you go, making me feel like a kid. Won't you do it one time? There you go, pulling me right back in, right back in, right back in. I know, I'm never letting this go. I'm stuck on you, whoa, whoa, stuck like glue. You and me, baby, we're stuck like glue. Whoa, whoa, stuck like glue. You and me, baby, we're stuck like glue. Some days I don't feel like trying. Some days you know I wanna just give up. When it doesn't matter who's right, fight about it all night. Had enough. You give me that look. I'm sorry, baby, let's make up. You do that thing that makes me mad. And just like that, there you go, making my heart beat again, heart beat again, heart beat again. There you go, making me feel like a kid. Won't you do it one time? There you go, pulling me right back in, right back in, right back in. And I know, I'm never letting this go. I'm stuck on you, whoa, whoa, stuck like glue.
now we get to recognize some of the singers in our men's choir. The men's choir is the choir that starts with about half of the guys have been in choir and half of them haven't. And they made so much progress this year. I wish we could have seen how much more they could have grown if we could have sung all the way through May, but they came a long way. We'll start with that highest voice part again. The tenors, the person in the tenor section with the most nominations this year is Nathan Leese. And then we move on to the baritones. And the baritones, this is a family name that we have heard in choir for several years. The baritones nominated James Park this year. And then we move to the bass section, which is the largest section, definitely has the most singers. And it ended up with a tie between two of our basses. So tonight we get to recognize Jackson Hoffman and Stefan Brosel. And finally, we have the Spirit Award. And this was one where a person in choir can nominate anybody that they just feel is a positive influence in their choir. And the person that had the most nominations for the Spirit Award in men's choir this year is Stefan Brosel. So thanks, guys, for all your hard work and leadership in men's choir. The next thing that they had to decide was what their favorite song was. And this song, if we were getting ready to sing for the spring concert, and if we did not rehearse it during class, then the second they'd start putting their binders away, they would start singing it because they just absolutely loved Owe Santiano. So that was their favorite song for the year. Well, it's time to listen to the men's choir, virtual choir. And they also did not have to choose to do this. They had another choice if they preferred, but the guys who did this, they had to learn their voice part on their own from a rehearsal track, and I'm really proud of how they did and how this all came together. So the pop song that they're going to perform for you tonight is Oh Pretty Woman. We hope you enjoy it.
Pretty woman, walking down the street. Pretty woman, the kind I like to meet. Pretty woman, I don't believe you, you're not the truth. No one can look as good as you. Mercy. Pretty woman, won't you pardon me? Pretty woman, I couldn't help but see, pretty woman, that you look lovely as can be. Are you lonely just like me? Pretty woman, stop a while. Pretty woman, talk a while. Pretty woman, give your smile to me. Pretty woman, yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty woman, look my way. Pretty woman, say you'll stay with me. 'Cause I need you, I'll treat you right. Come to me, baby, be mine tonight. Pretty woman, don't walk on by. Pretty woman, don't make me cry. Pretty woman, don't walk away. Okay, if that's the way it must be, okay. I guess I'll go on home, it's late. There'll be tomorrow night, but wait, what do I see? Is she walking back to me? Yeah, she's walking back to me.
let's do our Student Choice Awards for the mixed choir. This was our largest choir this year, made up of mainly sophomores and juniors. And we had some terrific leadership in this choir as well. So the first person that we are going to talk about is our soprano. And the person that was nominated in the soprano section is Grace Vandekop. Now we move to the alto section, and the person in that section that received the most nominations is Kira Stoll. And now we have the tenors, and the tenor who received the most nominations this year is Jet Letty. And now we move down to the basses, and this year the bass who received the most nominations is Magnus Nelson. And our final person that we get to recognize in mixed choir is the recipient of our Spirit Award, and the person who had the most nominations in the mixed choir this year is Ainsley Shelsta. So I want to say thank you to those 5 and as well to so many others that really stepped up this year. Thanks, guys. Now, when it came to the favorite song, for the mixed choir, this one was a complete runaway. There was no question at all about the fact that the mixed choir favorite song of the year is The Old Mill. And so many of them commented about how sad they were they did not get to perform that one. And I know that our audience would have thoroughly enjoyed that. Okay, it is time to move to the Pops Song Virtual Choir for Mixed Choir. And they are doing kind of a little bit of a newer song compared to some of the other choirs. The song they will be performing for you tonight is Budapest.
My house in Budapest, my hidden treasure chest, golden grand piano, my beautiful Castillo, you, ooh, I leave it all. My acres of land I have achieved, it may be hard for you to stop and believe, but for you, ooh, I leave it all. Oh, for you, ooh, I leave it all. Give me one good reason why I should never make a change. Baby, if you hold me, then all of this will go away.
My many are facts, the list goes on. If you just say the words out, I will be right over you. Ooh, I leave it all.
Oh, for you, ooh, I leave it all. Give me one good reason why I should never make a change. Baby, if you hold me, then all of this will go away. Give me one good reason why I should never make a change. Baby, if you hold me, then all of this will go away. My friends and family, they don't understand. They feel I lose so much if you take my hand, but for you, ooh, I lose it all. Oh, for you, ooh, I lose it all. Give me one good reason why I should never make a change. Baby, if you hold me, then all of this will go away. Give me one good reason why I should never make a change. Baby, if you hold me, then all of this will go away. My house in Budapest, my hidden treasure chest, golden grand piano, my beautiful Castillo, you, ooh, I leave it all. Oh, for you, ooh, I leave it all.
Yay! We are going to take a little break from our virtual choirs and recognize some students who had exceptional years this year. First, we're going to recognize these 6 freshman singers: Stephen Brosel, James Park, Nathan Gemichis, Lauren Hyde, Jenny York, and Taylor Hokinson. These students took the time to submit an audition for the South Dakota Junior Honor Choirs, and they were selected to sing along with about 150 other singers from around the state. If you take a look at the date, January 17 and 18, you might remember that that was a blizzard. And so I'm very thankful that this group of singers was able to beat the weather, get to Rapid City, and experience singing with some of the top singers from around our state and working with some outstanding conductors. Congratulations, you guys. The next group of singers that we're going to recognize is this group of 14 concert choir seniors. They made the commitment to come into extra rehearsals outside of the school day to learn music that they would sing at the festival choir. And the music that they got to sing this year was beautiful. It was selected by their guest conductor, Morna Edmondson from British Columbia. And they got to spend a day singing with high school singers from the region, as well as the University Women's Choir, the SDSU Choralia. It was a day of beautiful music, and I'm incredibly proud of how this group of singers represented Brookings High School. They are a class act. Next, we're going to recognize these 9 singers who participated in the regional honor choirs. These students were competing by audition against students from our 10-state region. And this year, the regional honor choirs were configured so that there was a TTBB choir, and that is the choir that Tom Ropp, Jack Ackman, Noah Strummel, and Luke Bielfeld sang in. And then there was an SSAA choir, and that's where Julia Schubert, Grace Gary, Hannah Murphy, Johanna Tevet, and Skylar Ness got to sing. You see them here pictured with their conductors. They bring in some of the top conductors from around the country, and this was no exception. I'm just very thankful that I was at the conference and able to attend the concerts that these students performed, because they were simply amazing. Congratulations. Next, I need to take a couple of minutes to recognize our 4-year vocal jazz participants. I know for me, one of the most sad things about the pandemic was that it cut our vocal jazz season short. We were just starting to really get going, and all 3 of our vocal jazz groups were sounding fantastic. These 7 singers made vocal jazz as freshmen, and that is not an easy feat. And then they were committed, dedicated for the next 4 years. And so we need to give a shout out to Grace Gary, Xander Larson, Julia Schubert, Tom Ropp, Courtney Verhoek, Kesslyn Willert, and Joyce Wu. Next, we're going to talk about the students who earned a choir letter this year. And so earning a choir letter involves doing things outside of school, beyond the classroom. So you have to be involved in extracurricular aspects such as all states, honor choirs, the musical, singing a solo at contest, or you could sing at your church or be on a worship team or take voice lessons. It also involved being involved in the choir council and the talent show. And so these are all things that happen outside the 8 to 3:30 school day. And it's always exciting to recognize these students. Our first time letter winners this year are Sydney Andera, Stephen Brosel, Alexia Dawkin, Lily Foster, James Park, Thomas Reynolds, and Serenity Wilkins. Because this is their first letter in any activity, they will receive the B along with a choir pin and a bar showing that they received it for a year. The next group of letter winners have earned letters in other activities, but this is their first letter in choir. So they have their B. They will receive the choir pin and a bar. So congratulations to Casey Bacher, Alex Heismeyer, Jake Hilmo, Kara Meddy, Katie Osbeck, Jessa Rindles, Shauna Rumpsa, Noah Stremmel, Sarah Timmerman, and Jenna York. And finally, take a look at that list. That is the list of all the students who have lettered in choir previously, but did so again. And you can see as you take a look through that list that it is really no surprise that those students have earned a letter because of all of the extra time and effort that they put into singing and music activities. So congratulations, Ellie, Callie, Sarah, Xander, Adam, Avery, Julia, Courtney, Jack, Tori, Jency, Hannah, Lily, Kate, Carl, Kesslin, Luke, Grace, Jacob, Skylar, Joseph, Thomas, Johanna, Joyce, Maddie, Francie, McKenna, Brianna, Joshua, Alyssa, Grace, and Maddie. Congratulations to all of our letter winners. We're going to turn our attention back to some Student Choice Awards with the treble choir. This choir is a one-of-a-kind choir for me. I don't know that I'll ever have a group like this because these singers have been together for 3 years in a row. None of them have sung in an SATB choir, and there is something special about the music that they have been singing, the challenging music, the beautiful music. I'm especially thankful that they got to perform at the SDSU Music Conference this year. I think it's a performance they will always remember, and it was a special bond that these singers had through that experience. One thing about treble choir is that I encourage these singers to try singing multiple voice parts, and they are very multi-talented and able to do that, and I think they enjoy that challenge. It does make it tricky when they're trying to nominate people for their voice part because that changed from concert to concert. The people who did receive the most nominations are absolutely deserving, and so let's recognize them. The soprano ones, the most nomination in that section is Casey Bacher. And then we move down to the soprano twos, and the singer with the most nominations in that section was Maddie Brink. And then finally we have our altos, and the singer with the most nominations in that section tonight is Rachel Burke. And the final person that we get to recognize is the recipient of the Spirit Award, and this again goes to Tessa Stoltenberg this year. The treble choir also voted for their favorite song, and again, this is one of the songs that they did not get to perform. It was supposed to be for our spring concert. And sadly, this is a song I have been waiting for many years to find the right group to sing because it was one of my favorite songs when I was in high school. I wish you could have heard the treble choir sing For the Beauty of the Earth because it was beautiful. Well, it is time for the treble choir virtual choir, and they're going to sing a little Britney Spears for you tonight with Baby One More Time.
Oh baby, baby, how was I supposed to know that something wasn't right here? Oh pretty baby, I shouldn't have let you go. And now you're out of sight, yeah. Show me how you want it to be. Tell me baby, 'cause I need to know now. Oh, because my loneliness is killing me, and I must confess, I still believe when I'm not with you, I lose my mind. Give me a sign.
All right, we get to do the Student Choice Awards for the concert choir. And one thing is, well, obviously it is stacked full of fabulous singers, and so many of them could receive the Student Choice Awards. Many were nominated. But one thing that helps a little bit is that we can divide them up into smaller sections because they sing so much more divisi in their music. So we're going to start with Soprano 1. And this year, the Soprano 1 that received the most nominations is Julia Schubert. And then as we move on down to the Soprano 2, the singer in that section that we will recognize tonight is Joyce Wu. Moving on to the Alto 1 section, the singer that received the most nominations is Ellie Abraham, and that's followed with the Alto 2s who nominated Kate Ropp. We move next to the tenor section, and this section was only 8 singers, but they were fantastic this year. And it worked out where both of our senior guys received the same amount of nominations, and so we can recognize both Jack Ackman and Xander Larson. And as we move to the baritone section, a guy who I'm so thankful for is Joseph Park. He's our baritone nominee. And then finally, we have the bass section, and that one went to Tom Ropp this year. Next in concert choir, we have our Spirit Award winner, and somebody that absolutely everyone loves to be around is Kesslyn Willert. This group also got to vote on their favorite song, and sadly there were some fantastic songs that they did not get to perform, but the one that they did choose is one from our fall concert, which is Lo No Lo Fazza, a song I think that most of these people will remember singing for the rest of their life. It was amazing. Finally, we get to move to the concert choir virtual choir pop song. And what we have is the always popular classic September. Enjoy.
Do you remember the 21st night of September? Love was changing our minds, pretenders, while chasing the clouds away. Our hearts were ringing in the key that our souls were singing as we danced in the night. Remember how the stars stole the night away. Badia, say do you remember? Badia, dancing in September. Badia, never was a cloudy day. Badu, 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 badu. December,
Down the love we shared.
September,
Was it you talking love?
remember the true love we share today. Badia, say do you remember? Badia, dancing in September. Badia, never was a cloudy day. Badia, say do you remember? Badia, dancing in September. Badia, golden dreams were shiny days. Hey, hey.
We've reached our final Directors Awards, and I always watch students throughout the year, and in the back of my mind, I'm always wondering who some potential recipients are for these awards. And of course, the problem isn't is there anybody that deserves an award? But the problem is, of course, there are always far more people that are deserving than there are awards. But I hope that doesn't take away from the fact that we still want to take some time to celebrate some accomplishments. So let's begin with some people who showed a lot of improvement this year. Mrs. Lisa and I talked, and I'm excited to announce that our most improved awards this year go to Molly Moore in women's choir, Jackson Eck in men's choir, Colton Slaybaugh in mixed choir, Piper Gilbertson in treble choir, and Jake Hilmo in concert choir. It was sheer pleasure to watch you guys grow this year, and we hope that you continue to sing and just are motivated to continue on this path. The next award that we have is an annual award that we do called The Future is Bright. And this award is for freshmen who just show extreme amounts of potential. And I know that Mrs. Lease would agree with me when I say we have thoroughly enjoyed both first-year choirs this year. It has been a special year that I know we are always going to remember fondly. And it was hard to narrow this down, but there are 4 students that we picked, 2 from each choir, who stepped out from the beginning of the year and went for things like all-state chorus and junior honor choir and vocal jazz and singing solos. And so we are very pleased to announce that the Future is Bright recipients this year are Jenna York, Lauren Hyde, James Park, and Stefan Brozel. So from freshmen, we are going to move to a thank you award. And every year, I don't know how I would do my job without the help of the interns that have been working with me the last few years. And this year was no different. I need to say just a resounding thank you to Julia Schubert for interning with the choir during first semester. And then even beyond that, when she wasn't officially taking it as a class second semester, she continued to help with library work, with helping with sectionals. She was just fantastic in the choir department this year. So thank you, Julia, for everything that you did. As I was going through the year, like I said, I was trying to determine who award recipients would be at the end of the year. And it's one thing to say that the senior class is talented, but beyond that, this senior class has been so involved in choir and in music in general. They have shown just excellence at every turn, and so I could not just narrow it down to our typical 3 awards. There was no way. Every time I turned around, there was somebody else that I thought was so deserving. And so what I did this year is I ordered 8 additional awards. And these awards are called the Superior Musicianship Award. And I really did not take the word superior lightly. It's not good, it's not great, it's not excellent. It is, truly people that are far above. And this senior class just has so many that I needed to take time to recognize some extras this year. And so it is with great pleasure that I announce the 8 award winners of the Senior Superior Musicianship Awards. And they are Xander Larson, Tori Dearson, Kate Ropp, Joseph Park, Courtney Verhoek, Jack Ackman, Ellie Abraham, and Joyce Wu. If you look back over the last 4 years, these students have done honor choirs. They have done all-state. They have accompanied. They've been in band. They've been in orchestra. And everything they do, they just do at the highest level. And so I felt it was very important to recognize all that they brought to the choir and just their superior level of musicianship and commitment. So we are now to our final 3 awards. And these are the awards that, as you walk by the choir room, you will see the plaques that we add on every year. And so I'm going to read what these plaques say. The first award that we have is called the Quincy Jones Award. And this award recognizes students for creativity and musicianship. And the plaque reads, for contributions of creativity in multiple areas of music, this award is presented to Thomas Robb. The next award that we have is called the Fred Waring Directors Award. And this award is for a student who, as I look back even to elementary school, just possessed such enthusiasm for singing. And also throughout high school, this student has been so supportive of me and has been involved in every capacity possible. And I can't imagine what it would have been like these last 4 years without this person. And so the Fred Waring Directors Award reads, in honor of outstanding contributions and achievements. And this year's award is presented to Grace Gary. And finally, we have our National School Choral Award. And the National School Choral Award is the highest honor for high school choral performers. It recognizes the dedication and musical achievement of the top choral students. And this year's Brookings High School National School Choral Award recipient is Julia Schubert. And I just want to say congratulations to all of the award recipients. And it has been an honor to be your teacher, to work with you, to get to know you, and to make beautiful music with you all. Thank you. Thank you for joining us for the 2019-2020 Bobcat Choir Virtual Awards and Pops Concert. It is important that we take time to honor all these people, but sometimes I fear that when we do that, I give off the impression that I think choir is only for the strongest voices, the very, very best. And I want to assure you that that is not at all where I'm coming from. My heart is that music is for everybody, and that there is nothing like coming together with people who just love to sing and lifting your voices together. So I want to thank you all for being part of the Bobcat Choir family this year. If you received an award tonight, you will be receiving that in the mail. And so just please be patient. It's going to take a little bit longer than usual, but I wanted to make sure that we got this awards night done before the end of the school year. So finally, we are going to just watch our final slideshow. I took pictures that I had from half of our school year, so it is shorter than usual, but I hope you enjoy this. I think that everybody in the choir, all 240 some people, are represented in this video. So look for yourself, look for your friends, and just smile as you look back on a wonderful year. Thanks again. Goodbye.
Different